Thanks everybody for coming back to the session. We're going to start up again with our next speaker. And our next speaker, we're going to start up again with our next speaker. Our next speaker actually is a representative of an organization that is really important to make sure that we can actually do anything that we're doing in here, right? Without his organization, we're actually sitting in the dark. And so I'd like to take the opportunity briefly, if he will allow me to do this. If I could see a show of hands, how many folks are from the private sector? If you'd raise your hands, private sector folks. Okay, that's very cool. And then how many folks from the public sector? You know, state or local government? Okay, great. Anybody from philanthropy? Any from the fourth sector? Any nonprofit folks in here? Thank you. Media? I know there's somebody in the back's media. Anybody else from the print media? Okay, got it. All right, so we have an idea where, and then from academia. Anybody from academia? Okay. All right, thank you all for coming back in. At this time, the organization that we were talking about is in fact Hawaiian Electric, right? The utility for most of the state of Hawaii, with the exception of, I guess, the county of Kauai, right? Because they also take care of Niihau as well. Jim Kelly is the Vice President for Government and Community Relations and Corporate Communications. And I'm very, very pleased to have Jim come up here. We've been joking about the fact that I'm probably going to screw his name up, so I won't say the last name. No, I already did, so we're in good shape. So, Jim Kelly, everyone.
Thank you for that gracious introduction, Doug. Really appreciate it. Thanks. Wow, this is great. I got to follow the guy that had the video and is asking people to save the world, and now we have the guy from the electric company. So and then you wonder why the audience is thinned out a little bit, huh? Well, I'll do the best I can. I've only got 15 minutes, and boy, I'm going to fill up every single one of them. So why don't we start out with my first couple. You got my stuff, right, Sydney? Really? I sent it to Janice, and she said she got it. Got my bio. Okay, well, that could fill up about 15 minutes, but maybe there's something better than that. Hey, Janice. Yes, thank you. Presentation? Yeah, it's the boring one. That should make it easy to pick out of the pile there. Yeah, so I'm thinking, let's see, good joke, a good clean, energy-related, non-offensive joke. Yeah. Well, I'll start out. I'll tell you what the first couple of slides say, and then when you see the pictures come up, that'll, remind you that this was something I talked about. So as Doug mentioned, yes, I represent Hawaiian Electric, which covers 95% of the the islands of Hawaii, with the exception of Kauai. We have approximately 400,000 customers in the state, which makes us big in Hawaii, but as utilities go, not so big. We're an investor-owned utility that's based here in Honolulu, and we've been around since 1891. My first slide, which is what I always start out with, shows a plug between Hawaii and the mainland United States. And then there's an X through it, and that is supposed to tell people that there's no connection between Hawaii and any place else in terms of getting our electricity from somebody else. Unlike the rest of the United States, which is all interconnected, we're on our own. We have to generate the electricity that we use here. We're not even connected between the islands. So every island is on its own, and if we run short, then that's on us to solve by ourselves. There's nobody else that we can count on. Let's see, I'm trying to remember. The next slide talks about how far we've come in our renewable energy journey in the last 10 years. And it really has been the last 10 years where we've built a strong foundation for moving forward to our 100% renewable energy goal in 2045. And it's not just, we're really, as a company, we're really trying to shift off of talking about hitting renewable portfolio standard measures. We're really trying to this is about decarbonization. This is not just about hitting a number in terms of how many renewable energy projects that you have online. The RPS standard is a good yardstick for measuring your progress, but it's a tool. The overall goal, as has been talked about here, is to decarbonize our energy system, but also our economy. And we feel like we are making a major down payment by committing as a company to reducing our greenhouse gas emissions by at 2030. When we hit 2030, our GHG emissions are going to be down 70% from 2005 levels. And that's not something that the legislature is making us do. That's not something that we're mandated to do. That's something that our company decided after the 2021 United Nations conference that we really needed to make a strong statement about what we were committing to do as a company in Hawaii. And that is what we mean when we talk about a down payment. If we can hit that goal, and we're pretty confident that we can, that's a major commitment and a major down payment toward the state of Hawaii hitting its own goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 50% by 2030. Now that's a tough haul. Don't make any mistake about that. But we hope by showing some leadership in this area and following through with that commitment, it's not just aspirational. We're saying we're going to get it done, and we're on our way to getting it done. But there's a lot of challenges that we've already seen in this decade as we started out with the pandemic. I mean, we're not where we would like to be. We're not where we expected to be in 2023. So that just kind of backloads all the work that needs to be done between now and the end of this decade. And I have some awesome slides that show specifically what we're working on and what needs to be done. But let me see if, no, that's fine. Let me see how descriptive I can be and show a thing talking about what this looks like. I'm trying to think about what else we're seeing out there. Let's see. Rooftop solar. There's something we have a slide on. We have almost 100,000 rooftop solar systems in the state of Hawaii. How's that? #1 in the country per capita. Yeah, see? And to hit our 2030 goal of 70% decarbonization, we've got to get another 50,000 out there by the end of the decade. We're making really good progress on it, and our customers are really embracing it, but we have to keep doing even more. We have a program right now that pays incentives to customers who hook up a battery to their solar, which is just about everybody these days, and they get an incentive if between 6 and 8 p.m. at night they agree that they're not going to be using our electricity. They're either going to be drawing it out of their own battery or they're going to be exporting it to the grid, and they get paid a financial incentive to do that. So that not only helps us when we're trying to reduce the peak, it means we don't have to use as many fossil fuels to keep the lights on. And the more and more people we can get to be self-sufficient, especially during that peak time, we're going to really make some strong progress toward that decarbonization goal. I'm trying to think about some of the excellent facts and figures I had in here. Let's see, we've reduced our, I want to go back to talking about what we've accomplished in the last 10 years. We've reduced the amount of oil that we burn annually to make electricity by 110 million gallons. That's a lot. We've gone from about 9% renewable to 32% last year. Let's see, I've got some really good numbers. Let's see, what else? What else have we done? Those are a couple of the, we closed last year, the coal plant. We had one coal plant in the state of Hawaii, and last year it closed in August. So we're not using coal to make electricity anymore, which is going to have as we go forward, a big impact on our greenhouse gas. See, there we go. All right. Okay, well, Sydney, I hit it all, so I guess just the last slide now. No, just kidding. All right. Okay. It's going to be worth the wait, folks. It's going to be worth it, I swear. Okay, so there's my extension cord. Everybody got that, right? Okay, no extension cord. All right, keep going. Here's our island. One company, 5 grids. Yeah, that's our company. Okay. This is our 2045 state goal on carbon emissions. And together, yes, we have come along. Oh, yeah, there's some other stuff there. I knew I forgot that. Yeah, we've got almost 1,000 megawatts of solar that's online right now in Hawaii. Some days, I know we're already at about 22% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, so we're on our way. Some days on some islands, especially Hawaii Island, where they're blessed with a lot of natural resources that we can use, they're close to 90% renewable during the day, so that's pretty impressive. Okay, rooftop solar, you already talked about that. Yeah, 40% of single-family homes on Oahu have rooftop solar. So this is our climate change action plan. We're committing to reduce carbon emissions 70% by 2030. Yeah, that's pretty impressive, isn't it? Yeah, come on. If it was easy, anybody could do it. Here's some of the ways that we're getting there. One was the closure of the coal plant last year. We're also planning through the rest of this decade to retire a number of our old diesel-powered steam baseload power plants. We are right now in the midst of well, I'll talk about that in a minute, but our plan is to replace those with some thermal generation, but also with renewables and battery storage. Okay, next one. Yeah, so I love this headline. I just found this in the newspaper from Honolulu from 1970, so this was back when nuclear was all the rage. And basically, our company undertook 3 studies in the 50s and 60s up until 1970 about whether we could use nuclear energy on Oahu. And the bottom line was, and people were mad at us because of that headline. They thought we were being very short-sighted and playing it safe, but the issue was that they didn't make a nuclear reactor small enough for Oahu. We just didn't have enough demand, and I don't think even today we have enough to, you'd basically have this one big fat generator on the island, and that would be it. I mean, there'd be there wouldn't be any room for anything else. So, but obviously, as I'm sure we still get a lot of questions about nuclear energy, and there's a lot of research and technology that's being developed, so who knows where we'll be someday. Okay, I just thought, I love the peace sign too. That's a great picture. Yeah, so this is a big year for our energy transition. We have a competitive bidding process that's going on right now that's going to close in April on Oahu, Maui, and Hawaii Island, where we're out to secure not only renewable resources, presumably like solar, and potentially geothermal, wind, but these are all resources we want to get online by the end of the decade, and some of the technologies have a lot more lead time than solar, and batteries are still the shortest time to get online. But we are looking for more firm renewable resources online. This is a thermal generator that could run potentially on biofuels, geothermal, something other than burning diesel. And so these will be coming in. We hope this by April, the bids will be in, and then we'll be able to see what kind of shape we're in. And this is the third RFP procurement that we've done in the last 4 years to basically transition off of our traditional generation and get more grid scale resources on the grid. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, there's a lot of small writing there, but you can basically see what we're trying to get on the various islands. So it's pretty big for us, small by other standards, but big for Hawaii. Okay. This is a big battery. Kapolei Energy Storage is one of the largest energy storage projects in the world, and it's going to go online on Oahu here middle of this year. They're building it right now. It's 185 megawatt, 565 megawatt hours of energy, really key to our transition on Oahu especially, which is where 70% of the demand in the state of Hawaii is on Oahu. Having this battery to really is a game changer in terms of, grid stability and being able to bring more renewables online, more variable renewables, more solar, more wind potentially, and have the battery storage there available to use to make sure that the lights stay on. This is a chart, and I really want to make sure people know later, in the next couple of months, we commissioned a study called a decarbonization pathways analysis. We hired an outside group to do this, and it really looks not only at electricity production, but also the whole economy, and really trying to make the point that we're making really good progress on the energy front, but there's a lot of more work that needs to be done, especially in the transportation sector, to reduce carbon emissions. And this is something that we're all going to have to get hold hands and really make a commitment to get this done, because there's a lot of work that still remains ahead if the state is going to hit its decarbonization goals. And we'll be putting this report out publicly in the next couple of months, and we're just finishing it up right now. But it's a good overall analysis of where Hawaii is today and where it needs to go. Okay. Hydrogen. So everybody's talking hydrogen. We're working with the state and others on the hydrogen hub application. We are participants in that. Obviously, we have a lot of interest and our enthusiasm for the potential for hydrogen in Hawaii. We think that there's especially that this is going to help us achieve that 70% that I was talking about by 2030. But it's also, I mean, we're going to be, no carbon emissions or even negative emissions by 2045. And so we see hydrogen as playing an important role in that. For us, though, we want to really make it clear, in parallel, we're still having to develop these other projects, because we've got to keep moving. We can't just stop and say, well, we'll see what happens with hydrogen. We've got to, or any other technology. We've got to keep going on parallel paths using existing commercially available technologies today. Okay. And this is our last slide. Oh, thank God, he's almost done. These are our planning principles, and we really try to follow these in every single thing that we do and go back to these pretty regularly. And a couple of them really resonate, especially with me. We are not talking a lot today about energy equity, but that's a phrase that a lot of people are using today. So that's number 2. This transformation, it can't leave anybody behind. Everybody's got to benefit from it, and not just kind of in the, well, we're making the world a better place and we're taking action on climate change, it also has to be, it can't be creating haves and have-nots in our society. That people can afford to put rooftop solar, batteries, electric vehicles, and then everybody else. So that's something that's really important as we move forward that we think about a lot. Number 7, I being the outside guy, the government relations, community relations guy, I mean, we live in a small place. We have 1 million people on a 600 square mile island, and there's a lot of competing needs for land here, and if there's a perfect choice out there, we haven't found it yet. Everything requires trade-offs, and we really try to impress that on people, that there isn't a magic solution to all of the renewable energy challenges that we have in front of us. And then probably for this group, number 3, today's decisions, let's not crowd out tomorrow's breakthroughs. I mean, we're really trying to keep all of our options on the table. We don't want to be overly committed in one technology or on one island or one place. If that means that in 15 years that some new breakthrough, some new technology, or even an existing technology in its nascent stage right now becomes much more cost effective. We don't want to be in a position where it's like, shoot, wish we had thought of that 10 years ago. We wouldn't have put in all of this new stuff that we're going to have to pay off over the next 30 years. So that's something we really try to keep in mind. We've got to keep moving forward, but we also want to keep our options open for future breakthroughs. So that's it for me. Thank you. You've been a very patient audience. Sydney, great job. Janice, thank you.
Yeah, Jim doesn't know I'm going to say this. On Hawaii Island, we really appreciate the team that Hawaiian Electric has there. We're able to have the conversations. One of the things he didn't mention that I am going to mention is that the company really has been working on community engagement efforts. And so whether it's through the Public Utilities Commission opportunities, through those dockets so that we can have all those conversations, or in fact working with the county, one of the folks that works with Jim is Jennifer Zelko, and for Hawaii Island kind of does the community and government relations work there. And she and her team came with me and my team as we went around to 14 different communities last year to talk about what was going on, particularly with the impact on the global energy market that the war in Ukraine had. And so we really consider the opportunity for partnership with the utility on our island to be very, very important, and we really appreciate that. So thanks to your team and to the company for continuing those kinds of efforts. He'll give me a drink later for that. Next, we have a couple of folks that are going to talk to us. I got a little bit of information about this. I'm pretty excited to hear about this, actually. And so this is Bilal Sheikh and Jack Katz, and they're going to be talking to us. So Bilal is the COO for EnerCap, and I'm going to screw this up, I'm sure, but it looks like Jack is the COO for Infusion Energy, but who knows? I could get that all mixed up. Who knows? In any event, between the two of them, they're going to be talking to us about future energy storage, and just a little bit that I heard, this may be Pablo level stuff. So really, really kind of cool kind of stuff. So without further ado, Bilal Sheikh and Jack Katz. All right.
Aloha. Aloha and mahalo. You know, as we were flying in yesterday, and we had the pleasure of flying in, it was interesting that we were all given a card by the authorities to make sure that what is brought into the island does not disrupt the delicate nature and the balance of the ecosystem. And that is also true in this transition towards electrification and sustainable energies, on what solutions are brought into the island. Because as they say for many things, not all sustainable solutions are created equal. One of the main important factors of this electrification and the sustainable present and the future is to have a robust, long-term storage solution. So we are honored to be part of this great enterprise to bring energy security to the Great Islands. So without further ado, I want to present you Mr. Bilal, flew in from Dubai to initiate this introduction on the piece of the puzzle that we bring to the table to help Hawaii achieve its goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Very good introduction. Once again, aloha. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And I'd just like to say what a wonderful country, what a wonderful island, what a wonderful place. It's an absolute honor to be able to come over and witness firsthand a place I've aspired to come to from a very young age. So thank you very much for the reception. We are ENACAP, and as a group of companies, our representatives and our subsidiary in the USA is called Infusion Energy America. We have the most advanced energy storage system in the world. In fact, we are proud to say that we have an energy storage system that is both environmentally sustainable and is the future of energy storage. We use the slogan, beyond batteries, and this is for a very specific reason. Hopefully we'll be able to get the right slides up in the right sequence and show you why. NCAP is our new advanced energy storage system that uses a non-chemical electrostatic form of energy storage. We believe this is the only sustainable way to store energy without harming the environment. And today we're going to talk to you a little bit about how and why we are the future of energy storage and why other alternatives in the chemical energy space are damaging the environment. And I'm honored to be able to do this in Hawaii, a place that I have now witnessed firsthand to be of absolute beauty. And we do, in fact, have some systems that have been working here for some time, and we'll talk a little bit about those very shortly. So what is NCAP? NCAP is an energy storage device primarily made of graphene. It's an electrostatic form of energy storage. This is a very interesting image that's in front of you right now, ladies and gentlemen. It depicts the problems, the contentions that we as human beings are facing today and will face in the foreseeable future if we continue to use harmful chemical batteries. Lithium ion, this is a statistic that I go around the world and I quote quite often. Lithium ion wastes 400 liters of water for every kilowatt hour that's produced. That's in manufacturing, a round of recycling, and then eventually landfill. In fact, I'll tell you something very interesting. Last night, as we got in from the airport, I turned on CNN while I was ironing my nice suit to wear today. I was prompted by a program that came on, and it was on batteries and the problems that batteries have across the globe. So obviously it caught my attention being in this space. And I realized as I was watching this program that there is a huge impact batteries are having, lithium-ion batteries in particular. So the program went on to describe how small nickel-cadmium and lithium-ion batteries that are being used in toys are unfortunately being swallowed by children and the damage that they cause. Quite a sad story because it depicted how some children had unfortunately died and the damage that was done. But the interesting thing was that they did an experiment to show exactly what chemical batteries potentially could do and the harm that they could cause. So they took a lithium-ion cell and they put it into a simulated box or an organic matter. They took two cells, in fact, a fully charged cell and a cell that was completely depleted of energy. And they took the matter, that simulated organic material, a day later, and they saw the impact that the lithium ion had. And in both cases, you could see significant damage done to the matter, the organic matter that was left there. So it made me think, imagine, just for a few seconds, all of those megawatt hours of batteries that we've been pumping into the ground once those batteries have been finally used. I mean, don't forget, some of the most expensive batteries that you're using in your mobile phones die after about 2 years. So the impact that those batteries are having on the environment is catastrophic. We see this as being a major problem, and we believe we have the solution to this. So what is NCAP? NCAP is a graphene and tantalum-based storage module. Its fundamental technology is what we call supercapacitors. This has been evolved into a new technology. We are about 6 years in the market. We've been selling electrostatic energy storage for 6 years successfully, 25,000 modules sold across 57 countries. And as of this year, we've improved the technology to what you see today. At cell level, we last up to 45 years. I'm going to give you some mind-blowing statistics. 45 years, if you can imagine. We can work between minus 30 and plus 60 degrees Celsius without any degradation. You take any battery and you expose it to temperatures above 30 or 40 degrees Celsius, and they will significantly degrade very quickly. We have a round-trip efficiency of 99%. A lot of people don't know, and I often refer to your mobile phone because it's the battery or a battery where you use every day. It's a device that has a battery that we witness. You waste up to 30% of the energy that goes in any lithium-ion battery or any chemical battery due to inefficiencies, whether that's speed of charge, whether that's thermal runaway, idle discharge. With us, we utilize 99% of the energy going in will be the energy coming out. We can charge at C rates of 150. We are currently working with Ford Shelby to develop the world's first EV battery that will charge in under 5 minutes. We are going to develop, or we have developed in fact, we're going to deploy EV batteries that will charge in under 5 minutes. We are also able to utilize the entire capacity of our battery. The technical term is depth of discharge, for those of you who know. That means we can use 100% of the capacity of our battery compared to chemical batteries, again referring to your mobile phone, one of the most expensive forms of lithium ion, that will only use 70, 80 or 90% of the capacity of the battery to retain life. So we require less of a footprint. So when we put all of these factors together, we claim that we are the most efficient, cost-effective, and environmentally friendly battery in the world. You can imagine that 30% of all of the energy that's put into batteries is wasted, the amount of carbon footprint and the impact that footprint has on the globe today. This is us. NCAP is the brand. NCAP is our holding company, and Infusion Energy is our American subsidiary. Jack's going to talk a little bit about what we do for a few moments, and then I'm going to come back and join you, and we're going to talk a little bit more intricately about the technology, our use cases, and where we're heading in the future. Thank you.
So as Bilal mentioned, we have been selling into the United States since late 2018 in companies such as AT&T and some of the off-grid towers and remote locations, working with some utilities in the north of the United States. But all of this has been done remotely from Dubai, which is where our headquarters in. So we are proud to announce that we're opening up offices, and we very soon look to have manufacturing initial assembly by this year. One of the important things that we understand is that true sustainability from an energy perspective has to do with decentralization. And I think that that is very important on the island as well, and we're going to be very integral in helping you achieve that with your local utilities. Mr. Bilal is going to speak a little bit about the father of this technology, who's our CEO and CTO, who unfortunately was unable to accompany us this time around, but we're very confident that we will be able to bring him over to your beautiful islands very soon.
Back again. I thought I'd be away for a little longer. This is Wasim Ashraf Qureshi. He's the founder, the inventor. We believe that he will be the recipient of a Nobel Peace Prize at some point for his achievement and his invention in energy storage. He's a close friend of mine. I've known him for a very long time, and to be honest with you, he's an absolutely humble individual, many tells to tell you, and on a different platform perhaps, but you can Google his name and you find a lot of information on what he's been doing in the past few years. And I call him the hidden gem of energy storage and power electronics. He wasn't able to make it here today, but he will be here in the future. I was messaging him earlier on and telling him about our antics and sending him selfies of me wearing this very nice, sorry? Lei, is that what I call it? Oh, okay, excellent. This very nice lei, and he sent me smiley pictures back. He said, "You're obviously enjoying yourself," and I said, "Yeah, well, it's aloha." Anyway, so as you can see from our timeline, he started off at a very young age, where he was the recipient of a National Science Award in a very contentious electrical or power shortage environment. He hails from Pakistan, where he started off. And at the age of 16, when he won this award, he realized his own true potential, and he never really stopped. I often say it's one thing to be able to invent, conceive a product. It's another to be able to take it to the market. And it's another thing to be able to understand what the market actually needs and when to time your product as well. Not only is Wasim Ashraf Qureshi a visionary in that he had timed energy storage to perfection, but he is also one that constantly believes in taking the product to the market and out of the laboratory. Many battery technologies today claim to have wonderful energy density, charge rates, but we haven't seen any of them truly in the market. We are now 7 or 8 years in the market with multiple installations across the globe, some of which we're going to be showing you today. And we have been fortunate enough to take feedback from the market to constantly improve our product. Moving forward, I can't unfortunately see the slide very well, but this is our factory in Dubai. It's situated on 6 acres of land, 188,000 square feet. This is our flagship factory. We will be replicating this manufacturing facility very shortly in the United States. Coming here, I hope it's going to be in Honolulu. It would be a nice place to have our facility. But taking into consideration global demand for energy storage, taking into consideration the huge market that we have globally, we believe that there will be a total of 8 such factories in the US. We are putting up a factory in Spain very soon. We're also in the process of putting an SKD semi-knockdown facility in the United Kingdom and other parts of the world as well. And this is to basically cope with the huge, enormous demand that we have for our product. And this is it, NCAP. We believe that the energy storage space is now beyond just being a battery. Energy storage devices, or batteries if you like to call them, work more than just storing energy. They're now used for managing your energy as well. So your battery system could be in Honolulu while you're on holiday in Alaska, and through your mobile phone you can see how much energy has been cycled through it. You can see how much energy has, how much money you saved through the cycling of energy, how much energy has come through PV or any other input that you may have. You're able through IoT to be able to turn on and turn off your battery at certain times in the day. You're able to program it to feed back to the grid at certain times of the day as well. So holistically, we believe the energy storage experience is no longer about just storing or charging and discharging energy. We're able to stack up to 1,000, in fact, now 2,000 volt DC without the requirement of any accessory. Each individual battery has its own battery management system that can be programmed, that can be set to certain parameters. We have a very large voltage range, which means we work with most of the conventional inverters in the market. And in fact, we're developing a system right now, and we'll show you a small brief on this, that incorporates the inverter, charge controller, as well as other power electronics into one box, a product that we call the AC battery. This is a comparative table of NCAP versus other technologies. Now, we had a debate at breakfast this morning as to how we would present this table, and one of us said they didn't want to present it, and the other said they would, so I need to do a really good job. So I want to tell you a few bits, and hopefully I'll be able to come up trumps. NCAP is essentially the only battery system in the world, energy storage system in the world, that offers up to 10 years maintenance-free, degradation-free warranty. this can be extended to 25 years. And this is because of the durability of the product, its ability to work in very contentious environments, and the fact that it is a long-lasting product. So we back what we say by the warranty that we give. As a rule of thumb, taking into consideration all of these factors that I'm going to talk about today, we say that we are 5 times more efficient, more economical than a lead-acid battery, and 3 times more than a lithium-ion battery. So you would need 3 times or 3 kilowatt hours of lithium ion compared to 1 kilowatt hours of ours, or 5 kilowatt hours of lead acid compared to 1 kilowatt hours of ours. So that's in terms of saving money and efficiency. And this is why. So we talked about DC round trip efficiency. This essentially means the amount of energy that goes into your battery compared to the amount of energy coming out. And if you look on the table, you'll see lithium ion, lead acid are they waste quite a large proportion of the energy going in, compared to NCAP that puts 99% through. If you aggregate all of the batteries in the world and imagine that they're losing up to 70% of the energy that's going in them, and then think about the carbon footprint that that's causing, I know I've mentioned this already, but for me, that's just immense, right? And we really need to address this issue. I know you don't want me to show the slide, but you don't need to. I was the one that wanted. So go back to it for one second. I haven't finished. Thank you. Okay, so the next feature is depth of discharge. We use 100% of the capacity of the battery, which means that we don't need to retain energy, unlike our chemical counterparts, and that means essentially we use less of a footprint. We're able to go up to 60 degrees Celsius without degradation. Again, this is unheard of in the battery world. Another interesting statistic, one that we weren't able to put up on this table, but I've been doing a lot of reading on since I came here, is the effects of salinity on batteries. Now, those of you who live in Hawaii and are using batteries today know that high salinity environments affect the integrity. Is that the right word? Sorry, yeah. Thank you, Jack. The integrity, or the performance, in fact, was the word I was looking for, of your battery. It's a better word, I think, performance, yeah. Okay, so high salinity affects how your battery performs. Integrity is not the right word at all, Jack.
It doesn't affect the
Okay. Anyway, so salinity can significantly degrade your battery in a very short period of time. So this is something that I was reading last night. So I called up the bots in our R&D and I asked them about salinity and NCAP. And I've been told that there is a 0 effect of salinity on graphene. Therefore, and we have a product in the field that has proven to show the same. So this is another significant effect that we would like to notify you about today. So you can go on to the next slide now, Jack. And I think it's your time to talk, right? Yeah.
So as mentioned earlier, we have been deploying product for a while in the United States without actual offices here, which we have now set up and opening up showrooms and different locations to be able to put this to market as it needs to be. One of the locations that have put us to the test since 2018 is an AT&T tower. We are now in 5, I believe, in the United States. This is very important. There are applications that simply cannot be done with chemical batteries that we can do because of the nature of the technology that we use that can be cycled multiple times very quickly. So one of those are being applied in multiple cell towers in different parts of the world. Case in point, in AT&T remote locations, called generator efficiency optimization. So we work in conjunction with gensets, be them propane, diesel, and we've shown and proven that we can lower the consumption of fuel by over 60 to 70%, prolonging the life of the units and providing pristine energy. Other locations around the world, such as Etisalat, which is big telecom in the Middle East, and others working in Africa. We're working now towards Latin America and in Europe. Same types of applications, function in conjunction with multiple energy sources, including the grid in some instances, generators, renewables,
Me again. Just to touch on the point of generators, I think this is a very important point for people in Hawaii because there is a large use of generators in the country, in the region. The way that we have been very successful in what we call generator optimization application, by nature we found, and this was in some of our earlier installations in South Africa about 6 years ago, customers would take our modules and they would deploy them on sites where there were generators. Generators are, on the whole, oversized. A 30 kVA generator, 58 kVA generator is never actually used to its maximum potential. It's oversized to accommodate what we call peaks. So it's extremely inefficient. Generators are known to be inefficient, and they're known to be huge utilizers of fuel that is, unfortunately, a big burden on the environment. So what we do is we take the generator to its maximum efficiency point, be that 80 or 90%. We charge our batteries for the next 15 or 20 minutes. Don't forget, we can charge very quickly. We then tell the battery to turn off through a power electronic control embedded in the module. For the next 14 hours, the load is run by the battery system. And then once the battery reaches a certain voltage, it sends a signal to the generator to turn back on again, the batteries are charged, and the cycle is repeated. Now this, we have noticed from our recent installations in West Africa, has led to savings of up to 65% in diesel. Now chemical batteries can in no shape or form do anything like this. First and foremost, they can't charge at these quick rates. They would degrade. Secondly, they can't cycle as many times. Again, they would degrade. And thirdly, you'd have to oversize the battery system so much to accommodate for cooling, to accommodate for degradation, round-trip efficiency, which would make it unplausible. We have installations in the field that have been around for many years, constantly cycling and giving these kind of results. So, moving forward, we're now talking about containerized solutions. We have containerized solutions in various parts of the world operating for different functions, whether they be solar parks, grid stabilization. I think the guys from Hawaii Electric were talking about the importance of storage on the grid, and we believe, and in fact we know, that we have the most efficient, cost-effective, and the lowest point in levelized cost of energy for all of those levelized cost of energy geeks out there who know what that term means, in the world. We have equated our energy storage to be at 7 cents a kilowatt hour in terms of levelized cost of energy. That's a phenomenal statistic. And that's because of the longevity, the round-trip efficiency, the no need to cool or heat our systems. And here are some of the applications that we work in, whether they're ATMs, residential, the military, industrial, hospitals, hoarding signboards, mining, etc., etc. So moving forward, Jack. Thank you very much. This is one of our recent installations. We were cherry-picked amongst 20 technologies to be hosted on a site called NEOM. NEOM is it's poised to be the world's most technologically advanced city based on the Red Sea in Saudi Arabia. We have 6 microgrid or 6 containerized solutions. This is the only high-speed EV charging station using 100% solar in the world. And we are proud to say that we were the company who provided the energy storage system alongside Siemens and Mercedes for their EQS cars. And we have been there now for just over, I think 16 months, right? About 16 months. So we have in our containers up to 350 kilowatt hours of energy storage, 384 volt DC, our own unique power electronic system. Something else that I want to touch on while I'm here, the inventor, in fact, had invented a device that we call energy server before the energy storage system, a device that's centric to our microgrids. Energy server can take up to 8 inputs of AC or DC simultaneously and manage those inputs concurrently. They can be wind, the grid, solar, geothermal, generator. It will smartly detect what form of energy to take at what time, and whether or not a mixture of energy is required. As we all know, early in the morning, the sun takes time to rise. So the amount of solar energy that's available may perhaps not need the amount that's required by the load. So Energy Server will then calculate the next most efficient, least cost input of energy and the differential it will extract from that input, be that the grid, be that wind, or be that a generator. And it will proportionately extract that energy and mix it and blend to give you an optimal output at the lowest cost. And over time, through artificial intelligence, it will calculate how to manage this energy. We are also proud to say today, in NEOM, we are curtailing solar energy. We've in fact called them up and told them to fit in a agricultural irrigation system or some kind of lighting system so that they can utilize the excess energy that we are able to curtail. So that's a very proud achievement for ourselves. Next slide, please. We are also working in the EV charging space. We believe that the oncoming electrical vehicle revolution is one that we should be ready for. We, about 7 or 8 months ago, were fortunate to have an intricate discussion with one of our partners and customers, a utility company in the United States, who told us that for the United States, this is now make or break time. If we don't manage the way that we are controlling, generating, transmitting electricity properly, we are not going to be ready for the electric vehicle revolution. Why? Well, if you can imagine for a few moments, in a couple of years' time, when there will be a few million electric vehicles on the road, and at 8 o'clock in the morning, as all of those dads and soccer moms are going to drop their kids to school, and they realize they've run out of juice, and they all pull up to an EV charging station, and they try and draw energy from the grid. The grid's not ready to take a few 100,000 cars charging at the same time, lest they be from a fast charging source. So we at NCAP have built a EV charging station that has a storage system built within it that will trickle charge from the grid at any rate over a period of time and will flash energy out at up to 10C. That's 5 minutes. Because of the unique properties, characteristics of our graphene-based electrostatic energy storage, we're able to discharge energy very quickly. Now, a lot of people come up to me and they say, well, electric vehicles can't charge in 5 minutes. The batteries, they can't accommodate a 5-minute charge. And I say, yes, that's true. But we and other companies around the world are working to improve technology in vehicles. We're just building the infrastructure to be ready for those. So in a year's time or 2 years' time, when Ford, VW, Porsche come up with cars that can charge in 5 or 10 minutes, we'll have the EV charging stations in the market that will be able to charge them. So that's the idea behind the work that we're doing in EV charging. And we're working towards bulk charging stations that will have a huge amount of energy storage capability to ease the burden from the grid, and enable charging stations to have large amounts of energy stored at off-peak hours available to discharge to vehicles at a lower cost point. Next slide, please. Next slide. And here you can see our 100% solar-powered EV charging station, fast EV charging station deployed in NEOM in Saudi Arabia. And Batrix, our EV battery. You want to talk about this? Sure. I think it's your turn now. Yep. Yeah, I've spoken enough. Thank you.
So this is the other part of the equation that is critical. We mentioned there's this whole issue about range anxiety with the vehicles. You know, it's not the same to have to fill up your tank and go to a gas station, but Mr. Wasim Ashraf Qureshi has found the solution for it, and we are very, very excited to present to you that Mr. Qureshi came out last year with what we're calling solid-state supercapacitor technology. So we have filled the other part of the equation, and we're working right now with a very important partner now in the United States, very well known, that we will be presenting by November of this year, the first vehicle that can travel up to 1,000 miles of autonomy and be charged in under 6 minutes. How can we do this? Because of the technology that we have, which is now far greater energy density than the most dense energy lithium-ion battery. For those of you that are aware of energy density in batteries, the most advanced lithium batteries are maybe at 250 watt-hours per kilogram of weight. We're now at 460 and growing. So this is a technology that is going into vehicles and going into aerospace, into various applications, and also into marine applications that can be charged very, very quickly and have no problem, which is called thermal runaway. So no issues and security factors of fire or of explosion. None of that pertains to us. This is part more of the same platform. Our technology in solid state is no longer a module, it's a plaque about 1/4 of an inch thick that can be molded to the exact format and form function required for different scales of applications. Did you want? Yeah. Oh, okay.
So, we had always known from an early time that the EV market would be the behemoth in energy storage. However, when we first encountered the market, we realized that technology has to be timed to perfection. 8 or 9 years ago, the market wasn't perhaps ready for this much advancement in energy storage when it came to electric vehicles. The electric vehicle industry itself needed to advance in certain proportions. At that time, we had also developed our first energy storage system, and a certain company, whose name I'm not going to mention, begins with a T, that also owns a social media platform beginning with a T, whose name I'm not going to mention, approached us. Some of you smart guys have already figured it out, had approached us at that time to buy us out, potentially. And we then realized that that was an experience that would have diluted, shelved, or maybe even taken us out of the market. So little old us and big old company whose name begins with a T, who own a social media platform beginning with a T, whose name we're not going to mention, would have eaten us alive. And we may have had a lot of twittering going on as well. Oh, I wasn't supposed to mention that, sorry. So it was at that point that we decided to leave the EV market for a few years and prove to the world that through stationary application, we could actually do what was on the tin. And we deployed 25,000 modules across the world and told everyone that, look, we can work up to 6 degrees Celsius. We can cycle up to 500,000 times or have a 45-year life. We can charge at excessive speeds. And after doing so, the inventor, as Jack mentioned, Wasim Ashraf Qureshi, went on to develop a more enhanced, more energy-dense system. In fact, where are we now, Jack? We fired Jack the other day from technical intervention. We then installed him back again. It seems like we're going to have to have another word. Anyway, stay on this slide. So, where was I? Yes. So today we have the largest in energy density cell in the world. Whilst others are still in the lab, we are at 450 watt-hours per kilogram. We're currently working with a company called Shelby Ford, where we will be launching a car in November. I can't tell you everything, however, be ready. It will be the world's first 5-minute charging car. It will be a rip and replacement of a current car that Shelby are producing. It will be driven from Las Vegas to Los Angeles. I've already given a lot of information, haven't I? No? Okay. But we're very excited. We believe through our energy density, we're going to get between 600 and 700 miles on a 5-minute charge. Ladies and gentlemen, that's phenomenal. We believe, yep, you can clap, go ahead. Thank you very much. We believe this is a game changer. A lot of hard work and elbow grease, as we call it, has gone into development of this battery system. We believe this is the solution. We, as human beings for the last 70 or 80 years, are used to going up to a gas station and pumping gas in 3 minutes, not to plug our vehicles into a charger and wait 8 or 9 hours for it to charge, and then find out a few hours later that you need to recharge your vehicle. So we believe that the automotive industry should function the same way it has been functioning for many years. Not only that, Ford identified a very significant problem that it was having in its performance vehicle department. Any battery that they would use in performance vehicles, and if you were to put the gas down for more than 5 minutes, well, it's not gas, it's the pedal down for more than 5 minutes, the battery would completely deplete. So they then, sorry, 5 seconds? Was it seconds? Okay, 5 seconds, I stand corrected, Jack. So they then decided that, well, they're going to miss out on this entire performance vehicle department. People are not going to want to buy Mustangs and other performance vehicles because they're not going to be able to put their foot down. I mean, that's primarily part of the reason that people buy performance cars. So when they started experimenting with our technology and they realized that by putting your foot down for up to 30 minutes, the battery still wouldn't deplete fully, that this would be part of the reason that they go for us. So once again, we're very excited for our EV solution to be deployed very soon. Watch this space. Do you want to go to the next slide now? Thank you. We have also developed battery systems that we believe accommodate other requirements, other environments, by stripping out the bells and whistles, the advanced monitoring, the high-end technology, but using the baseline supercapacitor graphene-based technology. We developed 12-volt batteries that can be used in CCTV systems, alarms, etc. And here we have Ensega. Next slide, please. Similarly, we have also developed what we call an AC battery that we'll be launching in Q3 of this year. This system incorporates a charge controller, an inverter, and your energy storage in a box. Can be mounted on a wall, similar to a product manufactured by a company whose name begins with a T, who own a social media platform whose name begins with a T, whose name we're not going to mention today. However, our product is a lot more durable, longer lasting, has up to 10 years, extendable to 25-year warranty, and it won't blow up. Unlike the company whose name begins with a T, who own a social media platform whose name begins with a T, whose name we're not going to mention. So the AC battery is primarily designed for domestic use. However, there will be a version that will be dismountable from the wall. You'll be able to take it into your electric vehicle and use it as a power bank should you face range anxiety on a journey somewhere. I don't think that company whose name begins with a T has thought of that yet. No, okay, next slide, please. Here you see the AC Powerwall in action, joined to your DB box. Again, can be connected to your electric vehicle charging station, and will give you that 10-minute charge. Will be able to also charge itself within 10 minutes. So should you face power arbitrage, you want to feed back to the grid within a narrow space of time, it has all of the functionality to do so. A very intricate software system that can be programmed to work for feeding back to the grid, for storing at certain times of the day, etc. Next slide, please. I think you're going to talk about the software stuff, yeah, okay.
So to be brief, because by no means am I an expert on software, but I think that one of the things that's very exciting is that at the core of the technology is the power electronics that is controlled by our IP and patents and firmware. It is a smart battery, for lack of a better explanation. Mr. Wasim Ashraf Qureshi has now, the platform within NCAP is an open source platform that can be fully integrated with any of the end user or the installer's systems for any level of control and monitoring required at a cell level. So it is something that comes standard with our NCAP technology, and it is open source again and completely friendly, and will interact at many levels with all the controls and monitoring systems.
Jack will remain available at the end of the presentation to take any questions on the software platform. Please feel free to ask him very advanced questions. Next slide, please. And that's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation. We tried our hardest, I believe, and we're also available should anyone need a speaker at your wedding or any other event. Thank you very much, guys. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Aloha once again. We look forward to working with some of you, and thank you once again.
And mahalo.
Mahalo. Yes.
Thank you, Bilal. Thank you, Jack. That was great. Really appreciate it. So a slight change to our program. We're going to move past Mike Upshaw's presentation at this particular point. He was going to talk about disruptive technologies, and we didn't want to be disruptive. So at this time, though, I'd like to introduce Sergio Leiras and Brad Hammond from Evertex and Siemens Energy. They're going to talk about Siemens technology and the future of hydrogen in power generation. So, gentlemen, if you could come on up, that would be great. Thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. I'm waiting for Sergio. Just be a second. Sergio from eVortex is going to cover a little bit about his company and what we're doing together with eVortex, as well as explaining a little bit the partnership and relationship that he has with Siemens, the turbine manufacturing company. Everybody give a warm welcome for Sergio, all the way from Cancun.
Hi, how are you?
In Spain.
Aloha. Thank you to everything for this opportunity for us to explain something about us. And thank you to Brad to share with us this opportunity. So I'm very happy to see here. I think it's a good opportunity for everybody, and especially for Hawaii, to make that transition, an electricity transition for the country and for the towns here and on the islands. So I think it's very interesting the community that we have here inside of this room. And this is important, so a lot of people are around on something that we will make, and after all converge in one point. So all have the same challenge and the same commitment. So I will like show the video that for the company. So it's part of what we're doing now.
In the meantime, I'd like to thank everybody that's coming today and come from a long way from Korea to Spain, Malta, and our great partners. We're working together with everybody. You know, from eVortex, MIC3, who'll be presenting later this afternoon. That's Glenn from Malta, talking about digital twins and the digital twin technology and how we incorporate that in what we're doing. E-combustible, thank you very much, Pablo, for coming. NCAP, some of the people that couldn't make it today, the people from Hexagon and Solo. And Solo is part of Caterpillar. They want another turbine manufacturer. And Sergio is representing, as he mentioned, from Siemens. So he has the partnership and development with Siemens in the hydrogen technology. And we look forward to working with the local community, Hawaiian government, private and public partnerships. And when I get a chance to speak after Sergio, I'm going to go through some slides fairly quickly, but what it's going to show you is how I envisioned and what we plan on doing moving forward in the future and enrolling not only in Hawaii, but first starting in Hawaii and going internationally. But this is our proving ground for us, because this is where we want to be and where we want to work.
Okay.
I'll stop loading.
Okay. So sorry for the incoming.
Do you have any jokes, Sergio?
Yeah. Send really?
It's
Yes,
slow.
hello? Okay. So right, so we're going to speak about the Siemens Energy and the relationship with eVortex. We stay working with them in the R&D department. We are finding technologies and scientists and inventors around the world to see how we can change the ways to generate energy with the turbines of Siemens. So we have an agreement with them to make the R&D commitment. They are working for introduce the conversion to conventional turbines of Siemens to hydrogen. Today we can say that they are working in or they are selling turbines for 100% of hydrogen. The thing is very interesting. So we have all the things here in this room to do the task to change everything. So combustibles with the hydrogen. We have Siemens to the turbines to do the energy with this hydrogen. And we have the batteries to the cars too. So we have everything to make the change in this country. So we will see. It's possible now? Not yet?
It
It
failed.
failed? Oh, sorry. So if you like, we can talk about the purchase.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to put on the PowerPoint e-vortex? Yeah, from what I gave you. Yeah, it's more about
Yeah,
the Siemens.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't worry.
yeah, you talk.
We can show the video there.
Yeah.
More time.
We'll get it working for tomorrow. Okay. So we've put a couple of slides together regarding what we're doing with Siemens and what Siemens is doing. And Sergio has actually been there and seen the unit that's been produced. And the one that says e-vortex? Yeah. Is that the PDF or the PPT? Okay, it should have loaded. Let's try that one, yeah. Okay, there we go. Just slide 2, start on slide 2. So, being on an island has its challenges, and also getting the right technology and the right people to come to the island, and what it takes from a cost standpoint of view and an integration. So what we've been doing is been working with Siemens and eVortex to come up with a solution, what's best for the island. And we came to the conclusion is to have everything built where the professional are, and then the knowledge base is there, the expertise, and the huge cost savings, and then bring the technology to the island and deploy it. And with the e-combustible as well, we have the same application where we're able to put their technology on a barge as well. And these are very custom, special barges that can be done in multiple configurations and then brought to the island. So it's not just for this particular island, it can be deployed at other islands as well. All right, so you've actually seen this unit being built.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to talk about it for a second? You can go to the next slide. Oh, it's just the. Sorry, I've never used it. I just push. On the right-hand side. Oh, there we go. So, as you can see, there's multiple configurations. You can use different kinds of turbines. You can use a steam turbine or a gas turbine. In this configuration, this is a steam turbine or a hydrogen turbine. You can put multiple turbines starting at 37 megawatts and go up to over 200-something megawatts. This is where Siemens is at, and on their hydrogen turbines. This is a little bit outdated because the new technology, they haven't announced to the world what turbines and where they're at, but using e-combustible as a partner, we're able to use all the turbines that Siemens has. So no matter what we put into the configuration on the barge, we're able to produce the energy that's needed for that particular project. This is just showing you a few more slides on the different configurations, input, etc. What it looks like from above and from the side view. They've actually, in the process, they've deployed several units around the world. And I believe one now is in Puerto Rico. They've actually deployed one of the first units in Puerto Rico. All right, this gives you an idea of some of the capacity and some of the configurations. All right, you want to talk about anything else in your company?
Yeah. So the truth is, for make these options with hydrogen, with green hydrogen, obviously we need to create the infrastructure for solar or wind or something that is the main source of green hydrogen. So it's only one way to make to trade the energy around the islands, but I think we need to establish some solar panels or so wind power solution to increase the green hydrogen in the net. So that's part of the of the deal too. It's a challenge too. We need to make this part because it's important to do it. The green hydrogen it's needed in the solar or the wind. So we need to stay clear that it's important for that make.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Sergio. Anything else you want to add in your company or
No,
partnerships
it's
together?
okay.
Yeah.
So we are integrating everything. So our company is for integrate this part. At the same time, we are searching for new technologies to introduce in this business, in the electricity business. And that's part of the deal we are doing. So thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Sergio. Thank you. Thank you. I'll get that.
Sorry,
Oh,
I'm coming.
come, Michael. He needs to come here, Michael. All right. Can you load mine? Sorry, I can't see.
I was looking at Mike's bio, and I had to say this, right? So looking at all the things that you were doing and all the great words that were in there, and I said, you know, when I grow up, I want to be like you.
Wow, now I know I am the senior citizen. So how can I help?
I'm going to give you some slides. Okay. Can I just go back one? There we go. All right, so my name is Brad Hammond. I'm one of the directors of Water Energy Group and also out of Hawaii. And we're here today with S&E Solutions as well as Coswire. And we'd like to thank you for joining us. And we're going to present some of our visions, so what we plan on doing, what we're looking to do with your help and in conjunction with everybody that's in the technology space. A lot of it's to do with hydrogen, and some of it is ultimately with solutions, absolutely solutions provider. I guess it's rolling itself, but this shows you where the market's at. And I'm going to have Mike. Okay, so thank you for coming to the 9th Annual Forum. We're going to go through some slides. I'm going to go fairly quickly because I've got a number of slides. What you can do afterwards is come up to me and talk to me about any one of the technologies or something we're looking to do for the future, all right? So this is currently, shows you about what's being used, and this is done by the government organization on the world energy consumption. It's significant, and you can see where we are today at 2023 and where renewable energy is at. There's still a long way to go, and I just saw a video the other day that it's, if you look at the whole energy sector, 2% is roughly where we're at compared to what's being used still in the combustion technology, yeah, the oil and gas industry. So, all right. Can you read that for me, please?
Certainly. All right. So Water Energy Group has come together with S&E Solution and Coswire Group from South Korea. This consortium is focused on green energy solutions, mainly in the hydrogen, electrical generation, and storage sector. Water Energy Group has the ability to generate hydrogen on-site in real time, including storage and transport.
Some of the categories.
So, in regards to conversion of new technology, Water Energy Group themselves is a management group that oversees and looks at different types of solutions so we can apply them in real time. One of them, of course, is our specialty, is the conversion of coal-fired power plants to a hydrogen molecule. The molecule we didn't invent. That was done by the e-combustible group. It's a simple solution. We believe very much in the fact of keeping legacy technology and basically repurposing the technology. We also have the ability to bring to the state of Hawaii the use of the fuel into the old gas turbines. You know, we can take a look at things. We don't have to throw these things away into a landfill. The time has come to stop taking our trash and throwing it in the ground. We can do these things and we can do it together. We have another solution that overlays for port security, for smart ports. Hawaii imports 99% of everything. So you have very active ports. one of the things we asked was the question, are they really working efficiently? The answer was, not really. So we have taken a look at it and we've built a number of different solutions so we can not only capitalize, but we can revitalize and save energy, which means lower costs, more profitability for these groups, who creates more jobs in our tax base. Power storage, you heard the story with NCAP. Again, it is the perfect logical solution to a problem that's on the horizon. What are we going to do with the spent lithium-ion batteries? You know, it suited a purpose for a time. The time is now to change and start thinking a little bit differently. Water technology, another thing that we're involved in. Even though you're in Hawaii, you have a lot of water. And a lot of water is not so good anymore. So we have to take a look at being able to do things in treating the water other than reverse osmosis, which creates, you know, especially if you work within saltwater treatment, you're ended up with more brine and less productivity and more waste. Again, what are you going to do with the brine? You just can't dump it. Last but not least is waste conversion. So we have a number of solutions that we've looked at, and we're going to present to both the mayors of Oahu and Big Island, because we know them. But, you know, the waste to energy is there for us to take advantage of. It's a simple solution if we all can get together and pull together. This is not somebody getting one thing over another person. So collectively, we can do it.
I got slides, Pete, on everything, so it's just roughly,
Oh,
just covered right.
well, I see. I got to be the spokesperson, even better. So, you know, we looked at a number of different ways. You know, we can't say that, you know, e-combustible has the only solution. You have solar on the island, whether we like it or not. Is it, I mean, the question is the land space being utilized? As my spiel was supposed to happen after lunch, but 55 years ago, I came to this island to test my skill set in surfing. I fell in love with it. I learned about aloha. I learned about ohana. And I wanted to bring something back here. And one of the things is we have to look at all the technology and see how it works. With the NCAP folks and graphite storage, we can use solar. We can use wind. It's a cheap method, or the parasitic load, to be able to store the energy for you folks so that you have it. We would love to see it capsulized where actually the home that Mr. Kelly was talking about from Hawaiian Electric, your panels actually work for you. You can have an economic way of putting a storage so you run your electricity. I've met people on this island that can't even turn on their air conditioners because it's so expensive. It's not Hawaiian Electric's fault, you know. Nobody knew the Ukraine war was going to break out, and oil went through the roof. You can't blame the oil companies because, again, it's supply and demand. We have to start thinking logically. So we look at solar, we look at wind, we look at hydrogen. They're all the answers to the big question. It's here today. I believe, I know that the state 2040 is that benchmark to become net zero. 2030. We can do it way ahead of it if we can just get together and start thinking about it. We have brought people here, our friends from South Korea, our friends from Singapore, our friends from Thailand. They brought money. They want to invest into the economy. We have brought people from Malta here today, from Spain, from Mexico, you know, to come with their solutions, and it can be done now.
All right. Thank you, Michael.
I'm done.
All right. So I'm going to rapidly go through some slides. Basically, what you're seeing here is the different kinds of hydrogen. So when you mention hydrogen, there's a number of hydrogen in the world and how it's been made. We are concentrating only on the far side, on the green hydrogen, 100% green hydrogen. So, all right. So obviously I didn't have the pretty graphics like our NCAP guys have, but this is my version. So I'll upgrade my deck. But I put together of where we see and where we're going and how we're going to get there right now with the solutions and the partners we have. But most important, we are standalone 100% off the grid, or any one of the charge stations we're going to talk about. So right now you see this is for the buses. We do electrical and hydrogen. So let me go into a little bit more detail what you're looking at. It's created by using wind and solar. Those are stand-up wind turbines that go between 6 to 8 kilowatts each. They generate the base load. It then charges what is needed. We can use the end cap supercapacitors. It charges a cell. One of our other partners that are not here today that we've been working with, they only produce an atomic hydrogen. It's a very much less, as Pablo mentioned, the output of atomic hydrogen is much less energy than what they were able to do of 3,400 BTUs. And this is all we need, because each one of those cells produce just over 400 kilowatts. And basically, 2 cells produce almost a megawatt. So as you can see, we're able to produce the power needed to charge the buses, the tanks, the storage tanks, or the storage devices from just that basic process. And through our partner from Hexagon, we're able to dispense the hydrogen to the buses. So something for the Big Island we're looking at. We're going to be talking to them in more detail of what our envision is. This is more up the NCAP's world. Same sort of principle. This is 100% standalone units. We can put them, all 11, throughout this island and other islands, where we use the wind turbine / solar panels that connect to that turbine. And each turbine is 8 to 10 kilowatts when you add the solar panels. And then it can charge the standalone NCAP units that'll be in the cabinet alongside it, and we'll have the charge stations for the electrical charge vehicles. For right now, we're looking at all kinds of vehicles, and also going to look to motorbikes, electric motorbikes, and in the future, we can also be able to do larger vehicles. This is, whoops, that's out of place. Oh, well. Did I miss a slide? I think I missed a slide. Sorry. It's missing, but basically, it's our partners out of Florida that makes this particular wind turbine. So what we're envisioning, we're building some of our own solutions with our partners, and we're able to provide our own power. This is significant. These are data centers. We're able to deploy them. So what we're looking at is deploying them in a particular, near obviously where the fiber comes ashore on land. We're able to use the solar turbines. These are each 16 megawatt turbines. We have a redundancy. We use the NCAP as additional storage. And or from here, we actually would like to use the combustible because it's what's required of the fuel. Because whatever we're able to get approval from our partners from Hawaiian Electric or whatever, we could put the additional power back into the grid if they allow us. But if they don't allow us, we don't have to count on them. We can provide, we just keep on growing our own standalone data centers. So basically, for 16 megawatts, we can power up to a total of 30 40-foot data storage terminals, centers, I should say. 100% green. It's designed to stand a Category 5 hurricane and an 8 earthquake. So the way it's modularized. I actually have a video on it, not today, but I'll show you some whenever you want to see it. Whoops. That jumps quite a bit. Sorry. My apologies. Oh, it's over there. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Point on. Okay. Best Technologies is a company we have been working with and talking to about bringing to the island. We want to bring 3 different solutions to multiple islands. it's to help take care of the oil from the Navy, if we can get that contract or partial contract, to take care of the tire waste that's dumped everywhere on the island, and the sludge. Those are the three criteria, including plastics, that we want to address per each unit. That's a drawing I have. Actually have actually real pictures of the product as well, but that's in the energy sector. So what's significant about this? It allows us to create jobs. First of all, this particular slide, and I'll go into later detail if anybody wants to look at it, this shows you what the input is and what the output is from when we're doing the recycling process of the tires. And basically, I don't know if you know, car tires, 65% is petroleum-based. Yes? I can stop right now if you like. Yes, please. Okay. Lunch is here. Okay. I'll catch you guys later. Thank you. The best is still yet to come. Sorry, guys. Somebody else stole my time. What can I say? All right.
All right, thanks, everyone. So as you heard from Janice, lunch is here. It will be served outside, and there are chairs that are outside as well. Food is not allowed in here, is my understanding. So by all means, we will be re-engaging here at 1:15, 1:20 to start. Yes, Janice? 10 after 1. I stand corrected. All righty. Thanks. Thank you, Brad.
I got about 10 more minutes to give a presentation later, but
All right, we'll do that.
to cap out.
Good.